It's Pepper the Pastor, and I'm Paul Allen from Faith Family Church, joined by Wes Feltner. Dr. and Pastor Wes Feltner is our pastor at faithfamilymn.org. We attend church Saturdays in Burnsville at 4:30 and Sundays in Rosemount at 10. And if you have questions for Pastor Wes, you can file them by either finding myself, Patrick LaVore, Jeremiah Forster, anybody within the Faith Family Covenant, including our pastor, and ask a question. Or you can do so via the website, email Pastor Wes, and we'll get it into Pepper the Pastor, where this time we talk about the two words God-fearing. And God-fearing is all throughout the Bible. So the question is, what does God-fearing mean? And why should I and we fear something we so desperately love?
This is a question a lot of people I know struggle with, because a lot of people have come out of traditions where it was a very fear-based, guilt-driven type of a system. And therefore, I think there are people that struggle relating to God as Father because they had a very unhealthy, fearful relationship with their Father. So when you ask the question, what does it mean to fear God? It really does stir up a lot of real emotions for people, and we should stop and really think about what that means. Now, your typical answer, because you do see this not just in the Old Testament, in the New as well, but it's heavy, certainly in the Proverbs and places like that. People will tend to define it as like this holy reverence. So what it means to fear God is to kind of respect God. There's a sense in which that's true, but I really think an analogy or an illustration helps us understand what it means to be God-fearing. I remember when my son Caleb was born, almost 16 years ago, which is crazy for me to think about. And I remember like bringing him home from the hospital. He was in the back of the car in his car seat, and I remember driving different. And the reason why I was driving different is that I had some pretty precious cargo. And so I wasn't fearful, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to run off the road and run into a ditch. Like, I wasn't trembling or anything like that. But I drove with a soberness, an awareness, a different mindset, because something very precious to me, something very meaningful to me was there with me. If you think about that in terms of living the Christian life, what it means to fear God isn't that you walk around constantly afraid He's going to zap you or you're going to do something wrong, but it does mean, listen, how I live matters, and how I walk in obedience is a precious thing to the Lord. And so as a praise to Him, as an offering of obedience to Him, I want to live with that kind of reverent fear that isn't terrified, but is very sober, focused, and wants to stay on the right road.
Amen with that. And anytime fear meshes with faith, that's a beautiful thing.
Sure.
And the way you described it was perfect. Pastor Wes, I'm Paul Allen, faithfamilymn.org. That is Pepper the Pastor. And don't forget, email the website if you have a question, and we will address it maybe next time on Pepper the Pastor.